So here's the big question. How are entrepreneurs like us, who have been hustling and struggling to make it to success, who seem to make it one step forward only to fall two steps back, who are dedicated, determined, and driven, how do we finally break through and win? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Brian Kelly, and this is the Mind, Body, Business Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mind, Body, Business Show. We have another phenomenal guest lined up for you tonight. Her name is Amy Mattison. I cannot wait to share her brilliance with you, her life experiences, how she's taken those for the better good and now is helping people all over the place. And I cannot wait to bring her on and share her brilliance with you. That will happen very soon. I promise. The Mind, Body, Business Show, real quick. It is a show for entrepreneurs by entrepreneurs, and it's designed specifically to help you to find the secrets to success, implement them, and get to that level of success faster than if you were to do it on your own. And so what I do is I extract the secrets from the lovely Amy Mattison and others that come on this show, and they willfully share them with us. And so you're going to love this. Take notes and really take action once the show is over. You're going to love this. So stay with us to the end. It's all about what I call the 3 pillars of success, and they are the very words that make up the name of this show. So mind is about mindset. The successful people that I interviewed over a period of a decade, they all had these 3 pillars in their lives. Mindset. They have very positive, yet more importantly, more flexible mindset. Body. It's literally, they took care of themselves nutritionally and physically by exercising. I know. Body. It's like a 4-letter word sometimes, isn't it? No pain, no gain. We've all heard all that. Business. So all of these individuals who I studied, who I followed, who are mentors of mine, authors of whom I've read, whom I've met, some who are no longer with us, some who were gone before I read their books, all of them followed and had these 3 pillars of success present in their lives. And business is multifaceted. What happened with the successful people is they had mastered the skill sets necessary to build a successful business and then grow it and continue to scale it. And skill sets, what are those? They're like marketing, sales, team building, systematizing, leadership. I could go on for quite some time and I'll stop there. And the good news though is, so think about this. Mastering something is very similar to being an expert. And those of you that are savvy, and all of you are, realize that it takes on average 10,000 hours of doing any one thing to be deemed an expert at it. And nothing is different when it comes to mastering something. The good news is you don't have to master every skill set. And in fact, I mentioned it. It's one of the ones I just mentioned a moment ago. If you just master one, the others will take care of themselves. And that one is the skill set of, ready? Leadership. Because once you've mastered the skill set of leadership, you can now bring in those individuals into your team who have already mastered those skill sets that you have yet to and may never master. Because let's face it, we only have so much time on this planet, and to master one thing by itself takes an enormous amount of time. And so that is what the Mind Body Business Show is all about, is for you to learn from experts like Amy Mattison, who's coming on briefly very soon, and take what she has to offer, or take notes and then put them into action once the show is over. Another fantastic, amazing attribute of the very successful people are they are avid readers of books. That's right, books. And with that, I like to very quickly and affectionately move over into a segue or a segment I call bookmarks.
Bookmarks. Born to read. Bookmarks. Ready, steady, read. Bookmarks. Brought to you by reachyourpeaklibrary.com.
Yes, there you see on the screen, if you're watching this live or recorded, if you're on a podcast platform, we are looking at a website called reachyourpeaklibrary.com. Now, for those of you that have access to a device that can take you to a website, please resist the temptation to do so and keep your attention on this show, especially because we're going to get Amy on here in just a moment. You don't want to miss a word of this amazing young woman. And so I implore of you to keep your attention toward the screen, whatever that screen is for you, or in your earbuds if you're listening, and also to take out a notepad of some kind, electronic or paper, and take notes, and then write down these resources. I'm sure Amy has many. Every guest I've had has many wonderful, valuable resources. Take notes. After the show, go revisit those resources that resonate with you. And that way you can be present, because what I always say is the magic happens in the room. I would just hate for you to take your attention elsewhere while you're looking at one of these websites. Amy says something, you miss it, and that could have been the one golden nugget that changed your life forever. And I'm here to tell you right now, Amy can do that. There's no doubt in my mind, because we had a nice little chat right before we went live. So hold on to your bootstraps, ladies and gentlemen. Reach Your Peak Library real quick. It is a website that I had developed with you in mind. I know, sounds a little cheesy, but it's true. And it's really here for you. I did not myself start reading books voraciously until about the age of 47, which is 10 years ago. I'm 57 now. And oh my gosh, my eyes were open. And for me, more specifically, my ears. I began listening on Audible. That was the game changer for me personally. I realized I didn't like reading. It fatigued my eyes. I got tired. It just didn't resonate with me. I didn't absorb the information, and I had difficulty finishing or completing books. Once I learned about Audible, oh my goodness, that was it. And so these are all books I've personally read and I vet. And that what that means is not every book I've ever read is in this list. But this is here for you. If you are looking for the next best or good read, the high probability that it's going to be in here, because someone else who's been successful has vetted it. And that's why I did that, was so that you can spend less time guessing. That's what this is all about, and more time modeling success. So pick a book from this list. And let me tell you, this is not the purpose of this website is not to make money. Anybody that's been on Amazon that has an associate link or an affiliate link and has sold a book from it, they know, that there is not a lot of money to be made. That is not the purpose of this site at all. It is a one-stop shop for you to find that book. They're not in any particular order. They're just in there as I either read them or thought to put them in, and had my team throw them in there and said, don't worry about order, just get them in there. So there you go. That is reachyourpeaklibrary.com. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to bring on the one and only, you guessed it, Amy Mattison. Here she comes.
It's time for the Guest Expert Spotlight. Savvy, skillful, professional, adept, trained, big league, qualified.
Yes, there she is, ladies and gentlemen. It is the one, it is the only Amy Mattison. Woo-hoo-hoo.
Thank you for a wonderful introduction. I appreciate that.
It is not over yet, I'll tell you that. No, not quite. We're going to be there soon, though. Before I do that, though, and give you the respect you deserve by giving you a great intro, a little bit of housekeeping. For all of you watching, you can see right over Amy's left shoulder, that's the upper right of your screen. You see that red, looks like a stamp? That is the Big Insider Secrets. They are our sponsor. And why is that? What does that mean to you? Just everything. Because at the end of this show, near the end, I'm going to provide a way for you to win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort. And that is all compliments of the Big Insider Secrets. My good buddy, Jason Nast, is the head of that company. And because of them, we have the ability to give one of these away every single week on our show. So you don't want to miss that. Stick on to the end. And again, this is only for people who are watching live. So if you're listening to this recorded, well, what's the solution? Is jump on the next live show. Go to themindbodybusinessshow.com and find the opt-in form near the bottom. We will just alert you of the next upcoming episode. That is all we do. We don't spam or anything like that. And then there is one more, and then we're going to get to this lovely lady. Hang on to your hats, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. So if you are struggling with putting a live show together, and it's overwhelming, and you want a lot of the processes done for you while still enabling you to put on a high quality show and connect with great people like Amy Mattison and grow your business all the same time, then head on over to carpetbombmarketing.com. Carpet Bomb Marketing. Saturate the marketplace with your message. And now back to the woman of the hour. And I'm going to introduce you now. Amy, get ready. And people are going to know a little bit more about you and really be leaning in after they hear this amazing bio about you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Amy Mattison with Lovely by Choice is out to change the world one random act of kindness at a time. The hashtag Lovely by Choice challenge is meant to heal the divide of hardships humanity has experienced as a whole. Amy's 20 plus years as a successful sales professional was driven by financial gain and personal independence. How many of you can relate with this already? Professional success led her to discover that money was not the answer to happiness. This is powerful stuff. She had it all and still felt something was wrong. Something was missing, often asking herself if it was all that life had to offer. I cannot tell you, there are so many people that can relate to this. She releases her fear and doubt to lead by example in order to show where pure, authentic, greater good mentality can take anyone who's willing to try. To be lovely by choice is to have compassion and respect for all, despite differences. With that, officially, formally, Amy Mattison, welcome to the Mind Body Business Show. Woo.
Thank you, Brian. It's so great to be here. Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it so much. I definitely want to start by saying, happy Veterans Day to all of the veterans out there. I was in a restaurant earlier. I tried to buy a guy lunch and he's like, someone had already covered his tab. So we're doing good. I gave him my thanks and, have that in my heart for all of the people that served. In addition to that, I'm going to use this spotlight real quick and I'm going to speak about Julius Jones, who is, on death row. He's got about a week left to live. So if you're not aware of this situation, we definitely want to learn about it in order to save this man's life. Because when I combined my faith with spirituality, which spirituality never really had a meaning in my life, I wasn't familiar with it. But what it allowed me to do was to heal myself from the inside out. All those marks that were felt by me as a highly sensitive empath that onboards negativity. So through life, those were all building up, and spirituality helped me move those all out of the way and bring in more good. And with that good, God granted me gifts. And those gifts are the ability to, and the easy term is psychic. So my psychic senses tingle like crazy when I think about Julius Jones and an innocent man being put to death. So if there's other psychics out there, let's get the attention of Governor Kevin Stitt and let him know that we can show grace and compassion when it comes to human life. As far as me personally, I speak only my truth. I know that today I'm put here for a reason. I discovered my purpose through this spiritual journey I did. And my purpose is tied to a kindness movement, but it is also tied to being able to sit here and say that I am the physical embodiment of the divine feminine Christ. So what that means is that I'm back. I made it through and I'm here to help. I'm here to change. I'm here to give my heart to anyone that is open to it. But that is my truth. It might not be everyone else's truth. Once the words leave my mouth, it's your choice to decide how you receive that. But please know that in my heart of hearts, I love everyone as they are without judgment, because that is what keeps me happy at the end of every single day of my life.
That's phenomenal. I should have had you open the whole show. That was phenomenal. And I'm not kidding. And I love, you already gave a lesson, and I don't know if people caught on to it. It's like, what comes out of my mouth, it's your choice to receive it or not, to decide to receive it or not. And isn't that true when it comes to business and accepting a client? Because it's our choice as well to decide whether or not we'll accept them as a client and their money. Because oftentimes, if there's not a fit, if there's not a value fit, that money could end up being not a blessing, as the opposite. They could end up really pulling us and our company down, as, you know, they could be someone that just is a negative Nilly that's always looking for the negative things in life. And just because they have a credit card with a limit open on it and a heartbeat does not mean you should take them on as a client. What are your thoughts on that, Amy?
I agree 100%. You know, we decide who and how we give our effort and our worth, and what defines that within each and every one of us. It's never going to be the same for different people. So to be able to decide who you want to do business with for the sake of your sanity, that is priceless in my opinion, because we all know there's people out there that can make our jobs very difficult if we let them. So having the confidence to know yourself well enough and to set yourself up for success, that is what matters.
Amy, you know what that is right there, don't you?
Yes.
Yes. Oh my goodness, that is a bomb dropping moment. Oh my God. Bombs of wisdom, smart bombs of knowledge. My gosh. If we let them, what a powerful statement. You stand in your own space and say, that ain't happening.
Right.
I'm not letting it happen.
Doesn't have to.
Yeah. And if it's okay, before we got on the show, I would love for folks to know, and choose how much detail you want to go in. But I would love for people to know where you've been, which led you to where you are now, because I think it's a very powerful story. So people understand that you're not just out here saying, oh, you know, the flowers are out today. You know, people think it's woo-woo, but you have a definite, absolute experience, or multiple experiences, that brought you to where you are today. And they are real and they are powerful. And it resulted in a you version 2.0, if you will, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, that's what I say. This is like Amy 2.0, and I'm coming out swinging, right? Like, this is the good part of life. This is when I feel like myself for the first time in a very long time. But, you know, life, we all have life, and it's never easy. It's not made to be easy. It's meant to teach us about who we are and where we want to go, where we came from. In my life personally, there were some defining factors that broke me essentially, and put my soul fire out. Like, the light was gone. I was deciding if I wanted to continue on in this world, or if maybe I just would never be happy. But that was through situations of, you know, losing a job unexpectedly, having a concussion, getting COVID, being sick for months, having health, like massive health problems that were terrifying. My dad died in my arms on Thanksgiving morning. The father of my youngest child drank himself to death at the age of 33. Okay, I share these things with you because we all have them, and life is not fair. But how we handle those situations is what makes us who we are right now.
I love it. I love it. That is so true. And I think so many people can get a lot from that, to say, look, here's another great, see, you're giving lessons without making them lessons. You're just by example. What I love about you is your authenticity and your transparency. And isn't that one of the most key elements for doing business today, whether it comes naturally or whether you just, there are a lot of people that have their guards up and they don't want anybody to know about anything personal about them. Well, what that happens is it ends up closing out those from getting to know you, the true you. And it's actually to your benefit to be more authentic and transparent and let people know you are a human being and you go through hardships, because like Amy, like you just said, everybody's been through some kind of hardship by now. If they've been on this planet for, I'd say, geez, even 20 years, something's happened by then. It just depends. But to be able to be transparent and say, look, I am human like you, but I've also figured out how to become successful in life and in business. Now people can say, well, gosh, you know, if Amy can do it, maybe I could too, because I'm having all these issues too. So there's that relatability that comes with it. And so do it with be authentic with authenticity. You know, don't fake it. In other words, don't make it up. Do it with intention of letting people know and letting them into your life as far as you want to let them. It's up to you. But to do that to some degree, you'll have a much better connection with each and every individual you meet. And I got to say, Amy, don't you think life is so much more full of vigor when you do open up and you share those things and you go back and forth with it?
Absolutely. And, you know, the reason is that we're establishing, we're building a relationship on a solid foundation, right? Like I gave you a little bit of myself. I shared with you, you share with me. And that right there is a connection. And depending on that connection, it's going to either carry us further down our path together, or it's going to, you know, say, not this time. So it's the authenticity and the being real. That's why I got into sales in the first place. Because, man, I was like, there's all these, you know, I'm familiar with salesmen. I work with a lot of them. I'm like, I'm just going to be sincere. And I know that I can be successful being sincere. And that is how I have always wanted to be in the professional world, because that is what I respect as myself. And that's what I would love to be bringing towards me.
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing that up, because a lot, I've had mentors, I've seen coaches on stage that don't preach this specifically. They basically say, go for the close, go for the, I don't mean to make this sound horrible, but go for the kill, go for the money, go for the transaction. And I didn't realize it, but for many years, I just wasn't in alignment with that. I gave it a go, but it's just something was rubbing me wrong. And I finally, just recently realized what makes my motor run at the highest RPMs is simply helping people without any regard for, oh, I hope there's a transaction at the end of this. The way it's happening is I establish a relationship. If there's going to be a fit of any kind, you'll know. And that's how you get to filter who you work with. It just makes it super simple. And if they don't ask me about what it is I might help them with, then maybe I did not do my job of expressing that exact thing, or it's just not a fit for them. Either way is okay. And you don't need to sell every single person you talk to, every appointment you have. It was such a shift for me, Amy. It was so liberating. I was just like, I can just talk to somebody and be there and help them and give them connection and resources and things without asking for money. It felt so good and so right. I said, this is it. I found it finally. And since then, I'm like you, I'm happy every day because I am helping people. I'm serving people. I'm doing what makes my motor run. And does that correlate with you at all? Or are you slightly different? I'm curious.
It's a huge relief to align with yourself and to be able to live and breathe that self every single day for the rest of your life. So, you know, the people that are in the closet and don't feel like they can be who they are meant to be and still be loved by others, I mean, that's no way to live. We all have a heart that can be kind to anyone around. We just got to tap into it and be aware that there are people out there sensitive enough to know when you're bullshitting. Okay. And when they know that you're bullshitting and they can read it and they can read you, your value goes way down in their books. So just be you. If it's going to have a connection, it'll be there. There's no reason to force it. And if you're living the life, you're doing good, you're helping, you're kind, it comes to you. you have to try significantly less when you're aligned appropriately.
Yeah. And I think what the trap I ended up getting into, and I think this is what causes most people to go down the incorrect path, and this is my opinion, and I think it's yours as well, is that I was always in the process of living up to other people's expectations of me, not what I truly felt. I just didn't know, Amy. I just didn't know that this whole part of me existed, that this trueness, this authenticity. I was like, and then the second I did it, I kid you not, the next person I talked to said, "Oh, yeah, I'd like to work with you." I'm like, how'd that just happen? This is awesome. Because I was just different on the inside. And it not because of the transaction was about to occur. That had nothing to do with it. It felt good to be me and to be authentic to myself and to help somebody. I just, that's all I want to do is help people to better themselves in business in any way I can, in any way that I have the ability to do so.
And you're doing it. You're doing it. You're doing it well.
You're so sweet. And you're the expert at this. And I see those lights dimming and getting bright back there. And I got to bring that up. I have to, because this is so cool. And I brought that because I noticed it when we were getting ready for the show. We're doing a little bit of a studio checkout just to let people know. And I noticed it got dark at one point. I'm like, and I asked you, where are your lights shining from? I see one on your left cheek. You have it. You go, I have them all around me. And then you said something else, which I want to let you share with everyone. So
there's people out there and their energy, their vibration, like what they emit, it differs between every individual, but mine is very high. So it affects the lighting around me often, like not just in this room, but wherever I go, lights just always are flickering or blinking, and I've just gotten used to it. But it is fairly annoying in this situation where my lighting keeps dimming and getting brighter, and I look old and then I look young. So I do apologize for that.
No apologies necessary. And there wasn't one scene where you're looking old to me. It's just darker or it's lighter. That's it. And right now it's like super bright. I love it because you are shining. And I just find that so intriguing. When my younger self, I would have said, "Oh, you're full of it. There's no way. This is woo woo, all this stuff." But I've been around long enough to have seen and witnessed and experienced and heard stories and so much from people I know. I don't doubt anything anymore. I mean, I'll listen to everything with discernment, but having experienced certain things similar and heard others who have done it, I'm like, yeah, that's really cool. It may be annoying to others. I wasn't annoyed by it personally. It was just interesting. And
right.
What a great thing to use as a storyline. And I think this is a perfect time to segue because you're on here because you're a successful businesswoman. You've found something that works. It's obvious to me what that something is. It doesn't even have to be what you do. It's how you operate, what makes you you, and what you use for that tool. But you have something called Lovely by Choice. And I just wanted to find out a little bit more, not for myself so much, but for those who are watching and those who listen afterward. What is it exactly that you're doing for the people that cross your path? Who are these people? Meaning like the avatar, what's your ideal client? And what kind of results have you seen for maybe, I don't know, just pick one that sticks out that folks might be interested in hearing about.
Okay. So that was a loaded question. I will say it is lovely. The Lovely by Choice challenge is simply meant to, warm people's hearts. We've all been through a lot lately. There is a lot of reason to be angry and upset and divided and not interacting because we've all been through what I call survival mode. We're all just surviving and it's not fun. There's minimal personal growth when we're in survival mode. So in order to depart from where we have been, it would be nice as a whole to raise our vibration and just let your guard down a little bit and do something nice for another. Think about what makes you happy on the inside. What do you get excited about personally? And then share it with another. Because one, you're learning something good about yourself. And two, you're sharing it with someone else. And that alone will change the direction and the projection that we're on right now. That is what the kindness movement is meant to do. Lovely by Choice is meant to act as a resource for all things spirituality. You know, recently I've noticed that when you're searching spiritual things on Google, it's all fact-based knowledge. It's companies named after spiritual things. It is no longer, you know, a good mix of everything. It is fact-based knowledge. And the spiritual world is one of creativity and maximizing the train of thought and making your brain as big as it can be. And I would hate to lose that. And Lovely by Choice is meant to be a one-stop shop for anyone that is serving, living a life serving, providing a service, healers, you name it. It is meant to give them a platform to provide the services that they're making a living off of. And it's something that I'm offering for free. It will always be free. I just want people to know where to go in order to find this kind of information going forward.
Well, fantastic. And that place to go is lovelybychoice.com. And now when you go to this website, you see there's a couple of options there. You can either answer yes or no to the question, have you heard about the Lovely by Choice Challenge? Well, obviously by now the answer would be yes. So just click on yes and take the lead from there and follow the instructions on what to do next. So that's phenomenal that you're spearheading something so positive and wonderful, especially in light of everything that's going on. And you know what? I think every generation says something to that effect in light of what's going on today, all the horrible things. And that's just the way it is. This is life on earth, and it's not perfect yet.
Not yet.
Throw that one in there. Got to throw that one in there. That's just too easy. Fantastic. So everyone out there, definitely go to lovelybychoice.com. You can see that on the screen if you're watching the video. And if you're listening on audio, just write it down, lovelybychoice.com. Definitely do that and connect. And you'll see on her website, you can also connect with her on the social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest. So just click on those and reach out to this amazing, wonderful woman. And I'm going to get that there. There we go. And this is amazing. I love it when you said, I'm back. That was like bang in the beginning. I was like, yes, that's owning, like, I'm here, baby. I'm not going anywhere, and I'm going to make a difference.
Right. Like, can you argue with heart? I mean, who can argue with heart? It's all heart. There's nothing to argue about. It's all good. And
geez, Louise, you just glowed. You glowed right there. Just like, the passion. That's very important. What do you feel the importance? So there's a lot of, there's debate over this. There are people I've seen walk on stage and say, you must pick something you love to do. Others are saying, well, if you pick something that's not, they don't say this, but it may not be your passion, but you can just do this and make a lot of money. Like for me, Bitcoin and investing to make money doesn't really move my needle because I don't feel like I'm serving anyone else but myself. Same with, nothing, please, no judgment, nothing against those who choose those paths. I want to be very clear about that. Same with real estate. For me personally, I don't see how it really serves another person unless you're able to find a property for some. It depends on the type of real estate, all that good stuff. I just never resonated with that stuff. What is your thought process? What do you feel? What's your opinion on someone that's about to embark on entrepreneurship? They want to start their own business. Is it important for them to be passionate, in your humble opinion, about what they are about to take on?
Okay, so I think it is so important to have passion whenever you're applying yourself. And the one way to find passion is to learn yourself from the inside out. And the earlier, the better. And this is where people get slightly off track in life, right? Because we are told that college and money makes us who we are, right? And it's hard to turn your back on that. I did it. And I disappointed my parents. And, it is what it is. But when we start to understand ourselves and we start to find our confidence and understand what makes us happy, we connect with purpose and passion, especially when we're doing it with faith and spirituality. That is the quickest way to figure out what is going to be the best fit for you in life. College, money, it's yes, people do it every day, all the time, but it is not one-stop shop for everyone. There's you are you, I am me. We can both be completely different and successful in very different ways. We can help each other do that, and we can both be happy. It doesn't have to be one or the other, ever.
And you said some things in there, just total, absolute nuggets. And I think one of the keys was when you are authentic with yourself, when you have figured out who you are and you found out what makes you happy, what makes you, I call it get your motor running, then you exude automatically this big word, C word, called confidence. And people, it's like you were saying earlier, that people notice your BS, right? And they also notice whether you're confident or not, both sides. It's kind of, I liken it to a dog that can sense fear in a human. It's not there, it's not obvious, but they know about it. And humans have senses too. And we can tell if you're BSing or if you're authentic. And if you're authentic, you tend to be confident. And I'm not talking about those who are overly confident. And we know who we're talking about for those that are just braggers and they do it to hide other things that are going on in their life. But yeah, outside influencing factors is what I wrote down as far as like college. That's a great example. Oh my gosh. We're all young, we're impressionable. We're looking at, in college for me, and walking with my classmates and making friends, it was all about making money. It had really very little to do with do what you love to do. It was go follow in mom or dad's footsteps for the majority of folks, and just do what they told you to do out of love. They didn't mean anything wrong. And then go get a job, work 9 to 5, retire, and then die. And that's the way I looked at it. That doesn't appeal to me. I'm sorry. And I did do that for quite some time. And yeah, I realized, geez Louise.
It feels better without it though, right? Like
it's I call it liberating, when you're able to call, it's not just calling your own shots, but it is, you have the freedom to create. You have the freedom to help and serve people. Before it was like, do it their way or the highway. This is how you're going to do it. This is how, when you're going to do it. I'm going to give you the exact words to use to do it. I'm like, well, why do you need me? I'm a robot.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a human, not a robot. And
that changes significantly from generation to generation. So the kids coming up now, they aren't going to be as easily sold as we were. Because, when my mom's just starting to understand that, I have to be my own person in order to be complete.
I think you're on that. I think that's so true that it's interesting how that shifts, ebbs and flows, but more now than ever, the younger tribe, if you will, is coming up that is looking more to be independent and do their own thing versus working for the quote unquote man. Right. They'll take the jobs as they are available to make money, but to subsidize their freedom, their path to freedom.
They will work when they want to work. And they have an immense amount of compassion and grace just in them, acceptance. They were born accepting and loving, like
that's so
an
true.
Unexplainable way to some older generations. It's impressive. Like what is ahead of us is nothing but good.
Oof. Man, you got me. I got goosebumps everywhere. I'm not kidding. That was awesome. I love hearing the good news. Oh, I love that. You're one of the very few, in all honesty, that has talked positively about the younger generation these days. I talk to others that are, my age or around my age. I know you're far younger than me, but others that are in my age group, negative. Those dang millennials. And I'm like, well, aren't they getting kind of older now? But what are you talking about? What's wrong with them? They don't want to work. They don't want to do this. I'm like, well, says who? Are you the one employing them and they're not working, or are you just hearing this? And it's usually hearsay. So that was refreshing to hear a positive thing said about the youth that's coming through, because boy, we need hope right now, don't we?
The youth, they're the light. They are going to get us where we need to be. And they are a blessing. And that's why we shower them in love and make them feel great for being who they are, regardless of if it differs from who we are.
I was just going to say, they seem to be more unapologetic, more confident in themselves. Oh my gosh. And they've grown up with a phone in their hands. So they are not afraid of a camera. Like some people I know that they come on and they're kind of spooked. And I'm like, wow, I haven't seen anybody spooked by a camera in a long time. But they're just, it's interesting because their lives they're kind of in a fishbowl from day one, right? They're on social media. And so isn't it interesting, all the parameters that go into making us who we end up acting like, not who we are, but they seem to be more authentic to themselves. Is that accurate?
I agree 100%. I mean, I have a 10-year-old daughter and she does her own thing. Regardless of how many times her mother asks her not to. So it is a different kind of challenge when it comes to children, but it is, I know her heart. And so I can speak to her heart, right? Like when you can go straight to the heart and bypass all of those ego-related emotions, makes it pretty simple.
Oh my gosh, you're hitting so many wonderful sweet spots. And I was just talking to my wife not long ago about this very topic. And I said, everyone makes mistakes all the time. And someone might make a mistake and it gets us upset. But what I look for is, what was their intent? Did they have a good intent? Were they trying to do the right thing? And they just missed the mark. If that's the case, I never get upset. I rarely do, but I don't get upset at them. I don't say it's your fault, point a finger. I said, I appreciate your effort. We'll get it right the next time. It's okay. It may cost time, it may cost money, but if the intent's there, how can you fault that, in my humble opinion?
You always have to look at the intention because it carries weight. And when we break it down to intention, it's positive or negative. And when we understand the implications of both, and when we ourselves are in a good place and we can manage emotions appropriately, which is significantly difficult to do when we're under survival mode. So that's like the first thing, one of the first things to go is patience. But really being, again, with the journey and learning how to manage and be the best that you can be emotionally healthy from the inside out is the key to the heart. And the heart leads the way all the way. Every single day, the heart is the way to go. It is going to get you where you need to be when you decide and make choices with your heart instead of your brain.
Man, that's powerful. I always say the mind and body are a team, and they are. And I think I can't remember. I think it was Deepak Chopra that somebody determined that that our mind and body truly are intertwined, even though the brain's up here and the body's everywhere else, that your body's listening to your thoughts. In other words, where, if you're thinking negative thoughts, then you're going to start developing diseases and overweightness and all this other stuff that goes on. And it's just amazing how the body and the mind work together. And most importantly, I think it all stems from the mind first, that so many people concentrate on the body. I watch people spend so much time and money trying to fix the outside with whatever means they have, with makeup, with and this is including guys, with clothes that make them look thinner or better. I'm like, well, why don't you work on the core issue, which is your health? And maybe it's all starting from what's going on up here. And it's typically that's where it is. It's
Absolutely.
I'm a firm believer that everyone, including myself, our degree or our level of success right now, or lack thereof, is not due to any outside factor. It is 100% about what's going on between the two ears. And if we right that ship, which I recently figured out how to do through neuro-linguistic programming techniques, and it changed my life 10 years ago. And I don't say that every day. Changed my life. Woo, changed my life. Yeah, it did. The mindset. And then I thought, wow, once you get that set, I saw my life transform, and I'm not being woo-woo, just got better. I enjoy every day of my life. I enjoy being around people. My dad had this great saying, Amy, and this was just last week. And he talked to a guy. This guy was an amazing, wonderful guy. He's a notary public, and we're visiting him. My dad looked at him and he said, and they were having a conversation. He goes, I've never met a person I didn't like for the first time. I thought, wow, what a refreshing mindset. And then he followed on, it could only last 10 seconds, but I never met a person. So there was a little humor, but so true. I think there's so much truth in that mindset. And I firmly believe that is why he's lasted 85 years on this planet, and he's going to last more because of it.
Absolutely, 100%. It is all a mind game. At the end of the day, if you focus on negative and you let those negative thoughts into your mind, and the more that they consume your mind and your time and your day, then before you know it, you are surrounded by negative. So if it can be this easy, I mean, there were times in my journey where I literally had to force myself to smile as I was driving down the street because I didn't want to be smiling, but I knew if I put that smile on my face, everything else would come around eventually. It is that simple. If you put your mind to something, you believe it wholeheartedly, you are in control. What if it's that simple?
And it is. It truly. I mean, I've gone through exercises. Start off with the attitude of gratitude and just start being thankful. And I mean, for what seems to be the most ridiculous of things, I'm thankful for that blade of grass right there. I'm thankful that I'm able to see that blade of grass. I'm thankful for this camera and these lights. I'm thankful for this monitor. I'm thankful for Amy Mattison. That's not ridiculous. I'm thankful for this microphone. And you just go on and just have that and think about everything what you're thankful for that we take for granted. And I think that sets a great table for the rest of the day. And if you do that every day, it's like, my gosh, you can't be upset or negative. And we are humans, though, aren't we, Amy? Do we ever get upset? Do we ever have bad days? Do we ever get sad? Do we ever have anger? Do we ever have negative emotions?
Oh my gosh, often. No one's perfect, right? Like, let's be honest. The difference is just being able to own when you are. I mean, I had a moment this morning in the house where it's like, okay, I got to apologize for that because it was unnecessary. I was anxious. It happens, but we are big enough to see it for what it is, apologize for it, take the good out of it, learn from it, and move on. We can do that. We're all adults.
And you said the key was own it. I always say there's 2 steps. Number 1, just the awareness that it occurred, and that's owning it. And number 2, well, yours is owning is really 2 steps in one. It's becoming aware that it happened. And then it's also righting the ship, and we all, every one of us, we have the choice of whether our life is going to be a good life or a bad life. It's all up here. You can choose how to react to circumstances, or you can, let your attitude be a result of those circumstances, or you can let your attitude dictate your circumstances. And it's all about a choice we made in our brain. And many of us are, for whatever reason, we're raised to do the negative side far more often than the positive. Not everybody, but a lot of people. I've noticed those that are raised by successful entrepreneurs are always, I have not met one yet, a sibling or a child of a successful entrepreneur. I've not met a negative one yet.
Probably because they've been living the good life, doing what makes them happy, right? Like, and their families are happy, and it trickles downhill. When we're miserable and we're unhappy and we don't feel appreciated, and there's little love in our hearts, then that trickles downhill. And I've been there, and it's not the place you want to be. So if you have a choice to change it, like, now is the time.
Yeah, and how hard is it to make that choice? I mean, it's either one way or the other way. It's real simple. and then it's taking the actions necessary to, like you said, to own it, to own that choice. That's a powerful word. I love that. You are amazing. My goodness, I was just checking the time. We're getting near the end already. So in your time when you were going through those trials and tribulations, and I don't want to take you down that path mentally. I don't want you to have to go there, please. Last thing we want to do is keep reliving those horrible past. It is good, though, to bring it up for stories, for metaphors, to help other people understand that you are also human and be authentic. So it serves that purpose. But when you're going through that, and maybe there are instances today, I don't know, but there is this overbearing, not overriding emotion that every one of us has from time to time called fear. And it can be that one thing that causes resistance or hesitation from moving forward on something we truly know deep down is good for us, but we let other voices talk us out of it. So if you had any, what would currently be what you would call your greatest fear or concern, maybe would be a better word? And how do you manage that? What do you do to overcome it?
Okay, so when you're on a spiritual journey towards enlightenment, fear is one of the things that you have to address, because this life that you live, the, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, the job, the kids, the family, the influences, the TV, the music, you name it, it's an influence. And more often than not, we live a fearful life. Fearful of doing wrong for someone else, fearful of doing wrong for us, fearful of our kids getting sick. Fear is everywhere. So when you take a spiritual journey, you actually have to detach from fear. And I recently did that, and I didn't even know what I was fearful of, because it's not, this journey has been surprising. But my fear was failure, because I'm an athlete and I like to do what I do well. I do not like to fail. So I had to confront failure. And once I did that, the liberation that I felt, holy cow, I will never go back to living a life of fear. You can pay me. It is a pointless emotion to live a life of fear. You are constraining yourself in train of thought that is unnecessary. So if you ever get to a place where fear is consuming life, that's when it's time to dive into your heart to figure out what kind of positive emotion is gonna eliminate that fear and that doubt that is driving your world.
You know what that is? It's coming again.
Okay, another one. I love that.
You know what's interesting? As you were talking, this is so cool. It's so cool. When you started going down the path of fear and talking about the negative connotations of it, the lighting in your place dimmed and stayed dim. I was just like, you can't make this stuff up, kids. It's not like she's holding a switch there and saying, well, this is negative. I'm going to dial it down a little bit. Okay, we're going to go positive. I'm going to bring it back up. But that's kind of like what's going on. It's what's going on.
It really is.
That's truly amazing. I just love this. This is freaking awesome. Oh my goodness.
Yay.
I got now look at it. It's brighter than heck. This is awesome.
I'm glowing.
Awesome. Yes. Let's see. This is one I don't often ask, but I think it would be a perfect time to do it. If you were sitting where I am and you were asking yourself the questions, if you're interviewing yourself, what kind of question would you ask of yourself? And then you get to play both parts here. And then how would you answer that question if you were given that opportunity?
Well, my strategic mind always likes to challenge people to get outside of their box. So, if I was interviewing myself, I would want to know what the future looks like. The 5-year question. What are we looking at in 5 years? How much good can we do in 5 years? What can we make happen? And then kind of daydreaming about it, if you will, because when we allow ourselves to daydream, we're actually creating, in a sense. We're projecting, we're putting it out there, we're believing in something more than what we can just see and touch. And that is an important part of life that everyone would benefit from understanding. We have to dream. It is so important to be creative and to push our creativity in a way that allows our mind to expand. Because when we're not expanding our mind, we're stagnant. And when we're stagnant in life, we're oftentimes unhappy, and we might just not acknowledge it because we're numbing it or not dealing with it. We're drinking. We're complacent in a sense. So always be dreaming. And for me, in 5 years, man, I just want to be wholehearted, helping as many people feel the love that they deserve to feel, because this world has a way of stealing that from people for one reason or another. And we all deserve to know our worth and to be loved for who we are, regardless of judgment.
That is a mic dropping moment right there. Yeah, I think everyone deserves, we are all worthy. We all have worth as human beings, regardless of our level of intelligence, the size of our bank account, the color of our skin, any or all of that, and many more. Our abilities physically, mentally, we're here all for a purpose, in my humble opinion. And it's a good purpose, or we wouldn't be here. And so I think this is kind of a gut check moment. And I appreciate this, Amy. You're helping me to think about things I don't think of every day. And it's kind of like revitalizing in a way, to think about the good in humanity and all the people that are here. And that's, when this realization came where I'm finally in alignment, I'm noticing that more and more, where it's just empathy and love all the time. And I just want to help people. And I don't get pushback ever, because I'm showing up as my true self, which is helping people. And it's just, I don't know, it's been a great ride. And you're like solidifying and putting a stamp of approval and a seal, one of those wax seals on the envelope, bam. And it's not going to be opened back up, because I am me and no one's going to get in there and change me. Man, where did all this come from? You're good.
That's awesome. That's how it should be. We can be us authentically and be happy for us, and take all the good out of any situation. We don't even have to acknowledge the bad if we don't want to.
I love that too. Look at that light, bright. Oof. So, oh my gosh, we're at the end. All right. So I did promise for everyone watching a giveaway, right? But before I do that, real quick, I was going to mention, Amy, I close every show with one specific question. And the reason I do is because, kind of by accident, it came up several times. And I realized, wow, the answers are very profound and they're very diverse. And I'm like, this is a powerful question. I'm going to ask it every show going forward. And the beautiful thing is, well, I'll tell you after I give away this prize, because I don't want people to have to hang on too long. So what we're going to do, this is the only time now, ladies and gentlemen, both Amy and I, well, I'm speaking on her behalf, but we give you permission to take your attention away for a moment, just long enough to pull up a web browser, whatever you have, a phone or a tablet or a computer. Just pull up a web browser, because I'm going to tell you how you can enter to win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort. Compliments again of the big insider secrets. Here we go. I'm going to bring it up on the screen. What you want to do is go to this web address. It's ryp.im/vacation. All lowercase. RYP stands for my company, reachyourpeak.im/vacation. Just fill out that form. And a winner will be chosen randomly, and that winner will be shown how to get their prize before this evening is over. So do that right now, ryp.im/vacation. You can write that down if you don't have a tablet or a device handy. Just be sure to get to this within the next couple hours, and then you'll be entered to win. And I can't wait to see who the winner is going to be. All right, back to the star of the show, and that would be Amy, not me. It's Amy. Amy is the star. And speaking of stars, I know that your answer on this one's just going to be to the moon and back. And the moon is not a star. I get that. So I love it when I crack myself up. It's crazy. So, geez. So anyway, this question, yeah, it's very profound. And what I wanted to point out to you is that, and I know that you're just sitting there going, yeah, whatever, ask me whatever you want. But this question has got a couple things going for it. One is there's no such thing as a wrong answer. It doesn't exist. And for you, that's every day. You know, anytime somebody asks you a question, you're going to give them the right answer. Why is it the right answer? Because it's yours. It's unique to you. It's your current situation. No one else can change that. So I always say the opposite is true, that the only correct answer is yours. That's what makes it unique. It's uniquely yours. And I just love the responses. It may take a moment to reflect and come up with the answer. It may come instantly. That also is completely correct. However it comes to you and however long it takes, none of it is going to be like saying, oh man, Amy, that was horrible. It's going to be all like perfect, awesome. It can't be anyone's but yours. Cool. I know you resonate with all that for sure.
I'm not stressing. I just want to know what the question is. I'm excited. I hope it's good.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Are you ready?
I
know you are.
All right.
All right, here we go. Amy Mattison, how do you define success?
I think success is defined through happiness. You know, reality, it is what we make it. And we have the ability to be happy by deciding to do so. Lovely by choice. We decide what we want to be. And personally, I'm most successful when I am 100% happy. It's that simple. Oh boy.
You knew it was coming. You knew it was coming.
Do you get a lot of that? Do you get a lot of success with happy?
It varies. It's all over the map. But one of the things I don't get, this was a bit, it's not surprising anymore now that I've done almost 170 shows. But the one thing that I did notice going back is none of them, not a single one, was centered around money. It was about, money is important, and I don't want anybody to think any different and get the wrong message there. But it's not money that we should focus on. It's what money can help us to do. And most entrepreneurs that I've interviewed will reinvest a good portion of that to scale their business and serve more people. Is it okay to take some of that and splurge on yourself? My humble opinion is absolutely yes. Reward yourself. Heck yeah. Enjoy the ride. Be happy. Do what makes you happy. Spend the lion's share of it if that makes you happy. But they will always reinvest and grow and scale their business and bring more people and build in systems so they can reach more people and affect more people in a positive manner. That's what I've noticed. As if there were a core theme, that was it and has been it. It's pretty amazing.
That is pretty cool. Very cool.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I hate to be the bearer of this news, but this show is coming to an end, unfortunately, because Amy, unless she agrees to stand for another hour, I've
got a sign on my front door that says live recording, go away.
Are you kidding?
No, I mean, it says it nicely, but I mean, that's the gist. I have teenagers that don't listen. It takes a sign on the door.
You know what's awesome? I'm a geek, so I have a light up above my door on the other side that says on air, and it flashes, and I use this remote to turn it on when I'm on the air, and I turn it off when I'm not.
See, I need one of those. If I do this more and more, I'm going to get that because I got to remember to take the sign down.
I often don't. I forget to hit the off button when we're done.
Of course.
I'm doing post-show stuff, and they're like, well, the light was still on. I was like, oops, sorry. How funny. That is awesome. We have parallel lives in so many ways, Amy. All right. So all good things. Well, they don't need to come to an end, but this one is going to be ending here in a moment. On behalf of the amazing, amazing Amy Mattison, thank you so very much for the incredible value, for your authenticity, for your transparency, for telling your story. I know that anyone listening to this or watching this will truly be impacted in a positive way because of you. And I appreciate you for sharing yourself. Truly, you're sharing yourself with everyone here. So can't thank you enough.
Thank
You're
you.
a gem.
Thank you. Thank you.
On behalf of Amy, I am your host, Brian Kelly of the Mind Body Business Show. That's it for tonight. We are going to be back again next week with another amazing guest. Until then, Everyone, have a great, great evening. So long, and be blessed. Take care. Thank you for tuning in to the Mind Body Business Show podcast at www.themindbodybusinessshow.com.